if you notice, there's a little lifting here. So there's a sinking down, a turning, kind of a corkscrewing down into the weighted leg or foot. And then in the middle, there's a coming up. So we're actually generating energy. We're kind of bouncing slightly. We're pushing up and then sinking down. So as we turn. So we have a balance of left and right, and then rising and falling. And every time we turn and sink, this is what Tricia Yu calls rooting. So sending a root down into the ground. So there's kind of an energizing with a lifting, and then a letting go, kind of a sinking down. So it's very relaxed. And there's no effort at all moving the arms. The arms are just, they're just hanging there. And it's the turning of the waist that turns the arms. We're not trying to do something with the arms. So, and there are variations of this where you actually do bring the arms out, and you sort of slap the torso a little bit. And we're slapping the kidney with the back of the hand. And there's a bunch of these things that are called awakening the body. So it just sort of wakes you up a little bit. if you need to be awakened, so you can do that. And if you've done this a lot of times, there's a reverse way of doing it. So the normal way is to sink down, come up in the middle. And the reverse way is to sit back on the leg. So this isn't a moving up and down. This is a side to side, but we're still rooting down into one leg. So, I mean, don't worry about it. It's just this just goes with last week, which is sort of do this wonderful movement in a way that works for you, that in a way that is satisfying to you, the way you feel. So here's a variation on it, and that's fine. And and you can get real enthusiastic with it too. If you want to do that. So when you see me doing a move up here, it's totally fine to imitate. That's how Qigong has been taught for centuries, and it's also fine once you've got it to individualize it and make it your own. One thing I like to say about that movement, if you're driving across on an interstate and you stop at a rest area and you go out and start doing this, and someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, you're a Qigong practitioner, you're a Tai Chi practitioner," it's sort of code, It's anyone who's doing that, they've practiced the Chinese martial arts in some way. So welcome everyone, and for this class we're going to be focusing on Qigong, which many of you know is the internal cultivation of qi. That is using our concentration, using our mind to feel into the body and move our awareness into different parts of the body. So that's Qigong. There's a whole range of Qigong movements, and we'll do a couple of the better known ones. And then we're going to segue into Shen Gong, which is the Taoist practice of spiritual awakening through the body. And it's related to Qigong. Qigong has a lot to do with health and wellness or healing. And Shen Gong, of course, is that too, and then beyond that. So we'll be doing much of that seated. And I should mention, if anybody's new, that in meditation practice and Buddhist practice, these other practices, we're sort of taught to sit cross-legged on our cushion, and that is not that's not how the Taoists teach sitting meditation. In fact, they say that's a good way to cramp your legs up and inhibit the flow of qi in your body. So they encourage sitting on a stool without a back. So, but that's not to say that you have to do that. If you want to kneel on the floor or sit in the lotus, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna go into those sort of arguments. But that's traditionally that's how it's done. All right, well, let's begin with bowing to the directions. So if you know which way is east, let's go ahead and face the east. And if you don't, just pretend. Okay, so there's always a wind up. We don't just raise the hands. We sink the body. We let the body raise the hands. Okay, and either press them together or keep them about an inch apart, whatever feels right. Okay, and then shift the weight to the left foot and step around, face the south. And we're going to coordinate this with the breath as well. So as we fold in half, that's an out breath. So it'd be an in breath and then out breath as you bow. In breath as you come up. Shift. You're going to face the west. So sink down. So in breath, out breath. Shift the weight, step around till we're facing the north. So sink the knees, so in breath, out breath as you bow, in breath as you come up, and then back to the first position. Then we're going to go up, so that means first we go down. This would be an in breath, extend. So we're tensing our fingers just a little bit, and that implies we're extending beyond the body, way, way, way up. The eyes are looking up. And then with an out breath, we come down with the arms. And we breathe in again. And as we fold again, that's an out breath. And then in breath as we come up. Okay, and then this last position, we're calling attention to the dantians, the lower dantian and the middle. And this is where we feel the breath. This is where the belly expands and the chest expands. So the hands are going to move to be in harmony with the belly, which is expanding with the in-breath, and the chest. So the hands aren't still. So it's the whole body here. The whole body's breathing. And with an out breath, then we return to mountain, standing mountain, or standing position one. And here we want to establish or remember this vertical alignment of the body, and you can think of sort of dotted lines, if you like, coming from the center of the earth up right through the center of the body, out the top of the head, and extending way up into the night sky. The ancients would say to the North Star. And so this harmonizes the awareness of the 7 directions, so that the 6 directions which are all around us, and then the 7th is the internal. And so that's what we're going to be focusing on tonight, is that internal. Okay, very good. Now after this, if you like, when you're doing your practice, if your feet are uncomfortable, you just break your stance. It's okay to do that. Just change it, move a little bit. But then when we're doing the practice, the feet remain rooted. But in between, it's fine to move them. It's good to have something comfortable to stand on if you can. If you have a yoga mat or even carpet. The Tai Chi Center, we just use carpet squares. Now, if you just want to just sort of check in, so just scan the body and just check for sensations of qi, tingling, maybe in the palms or anywhere in the body, maybe heat. Or just a sense of alignment, a sense of the aliveness of the body. That the body is totally alive. Every cell in the body is totally alive. Okay. Okay. Very good. Now let's loosen up the head and neck, and then the shoulders. We do this, as you know, almost every time, and it's because we're doing this, at 6 at night after a long day, where tension has caused some of the muscles to tighten up, particularly if we've been sitting a lot. So again, you don't have to do this in your own practice. I mean, if you wake up in the morning and you're doing this first thing in the morning, you may not be stiff at all. It just depends. on how you slept and so on. When we release tension, we naturally take a deep breath. You probably noticed that. So if you find yourself, whatever practice you're doing, if you find it, you sigh, you take a deep breath. That means that you're releasing tension, and that's one way to know. Okay, and then moving down. So this is just an expansion of the breath. And you can try regular breathing here or reverse breathing. So the regular breathing is, this is opening, this would be an inhale. And then as you bend at the waist, this would be an exhale. But you can reverse that as long as you're moving with the breath. We've focused a number of times on reverse breathing, and if that's a little new to you, it's just that there's a natural way to breathe with these movements. You'll just naturally do it, and then you can intentionally reverse it, and that is beneficial because after a while we're just going to do what feels natural without regard for what we're supposed to do. And if you've done the 7 gates, if you practice that a number of times, this is the 7 gates. This is the 4th gate we're opening. It's right in the middle. So we're opening the 3 below it and the 3 above it. Sort of, it's just implied we're opening them all. And one image that I think of sometimes is that if you have a big pea pod and you split it, and there's all these little round peas in there, so there'd be 7 of those. Just let images form for you. I don't want you to be attached to any particular one because they'll form for you. Some people will use sound to accompany these movements, and some will breathe colors. As long as you're moving with the breath, that's the main thing. Okay, let's do a couple more. And reduce these movements. All right, and then the balancing, and we just start out with just notice that the weight is 50-50 on each foot. And then when you're ready, you just bend that one knee, sink down, let the other foot come up. And then depending on your stability, you can do what you want with the unweighted foot or with the hands. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is that we're getting comfortable standing on one foot. But if you're just playing the piano position and just lifting that one heel, that's fine. It's just fine. You can even leave the toe on the ground. That's still balance. It's what it's about, is balance. So we don't want you to fall on the ice. Okay. And have fun with this too. The only thing is, before you lift the unweighted foot, be sure you're real stable. So, I mean, you can do this with quite a lot of energy. It doesn't have to be real slow, as long as it's stable. Now this is white crane spreads its wings. It's just on one foot. So you can do that one if you like. You can do golden pheasant, stands on one leg. Okay. All right. Very good. And if you only do that one time a week, studies have shown that our balance just improves tremendously. Just from doing it once a week. It has to do with body memory as well as flexibility. Okay. There's a movement called Old Man Strokes His Beard. So, but we're going to do the reverse of that, which I don't know what the name of this one is. It's the opposite of Old Man Strokes His Beard. So in breath and then down. So the arm movement is, we're going to point to the ground with a middle finger. Then we're going to point directly to the center line of the body, straight up the body, all the way up, head above, we're pointing to the sky, and then down. That's all it is. But we want to be certain that the finger's pointing, because that's what directs our attention. Okay? And then we can switch arms. So in breath up, out breath down, or two breaths. So in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath. Or if you want to, you can do it even slower. And then let's switch hands. So okay, and then add the body English. So we're going to sit down with the knees and come up, stand up straight, and then sink down. And then, so we're bouncing up. And the eyes are following the hand. So drawing us up, extending way up into the universe, and then sinking down, way down into the ground. Okay, and then the next variation is to turn the body. So whatever hand's coming up, we're just going to turn that direction. And there's actually, this is like the first warm-up move. There's a turning of the hips, and then we're going, putting the weight on more on one leg. And the next variation is to use both hands. So when one is up, then the other one begins. Okay, and let's just come back to the first, just the simple one, where we're just using one hand, up and then down, and then shifting to the other. And now let's focus on our intention. Now, this could be a visualization. So our attention's going where the finger's pointing. So our attention is way down on the ground, then it comes up inside the body. The finger points, you can do this even more slowly. Finger points to the inside of the spine, inside of the head, then it points up to the sky, and then as it comes down, it's pointing forward, but we're bringing our attention down internally, inside the front of the body. Now, this is a knee gong. So this is internal. So we're extending, now we can visualize light coming from the hand and moving up the spine, moving out the top of the head, going up into the universe, light coming down from the stars, coming and filling the body, coming down the front, and then going, exiting the body, going all the way down to the earth, and then light coming up. So if you're visual, you can visualize light. If not so much, you can use sound. So this would be the inner flute. When the hand's low, it's low register, and as it moves up, it goes into higher notes. That will work. And you can also use color, so the rainbow. So when the hand's pointing down, it's deep red, comes up, and orange, yellow, it brightens green, blue, violet, ultraviolet, starlight, and then down. So any of these things are fine. The whole idea is that we're using the mind, using our concentrated mind to focus internally in the body. And then of course we're feeling it, the sense of touch is activated inside the body. And we can feel inside our body, we have nerve endings. Okay. Okay, so this is the hand motions. Let's reduce these movements now. Until they're very, very fine, very subtle. And then we'll end up in the seventh direction position. And now we'll use our breath and our eyes to continue the practice. And so that what they say, this is activating the central channel of the body, which is the deepest level of chi, which is just our life force energy that all living things have. So it's coming from the earth, coming up through the body, out into the universe, and back down. So we're kind of enlivening the body with our attention. And every cell in the body is responding to this. It's vibrating, it's lighting up. Okay, let's take a few more breaths. And then let's move into our sitting posture. Okay, so we're going to move into a Shen Gong practice now after the internal cultivation. And I want to show you the Lan Fa mudra. So you take the two fingers and touch the thumb. This is sometimes called the dragon's eye or a crane's beak. There's different names, but in Chinese it's Lan Fa. And I learned this sequence that we're going to do from Master Ken Cohen, who's studied extensively with the Chinese Qi practitioners. So that's the Lan Fa. So let's go ahead, just take a moment and be comfortable sitting. Move whatever you need to move. This is Swimming Dragon Qigong, and then this will segue into a brain cleansing Shen Gong. So for the first one, on the in breath, we're going to come up into the begging dog position. So in breath. Okay, and then out breath, we're going to push. In breath, withdraw. This can be big, but keep the mouth closed. We're breathing through the nose. This is expressing and withdrawing. This is Yan, and this is Yin. We do this about 10 times. Yeah, let's do one more. And then we circle around and go into the Lan Fa on your thighs. The eyes are either closed or partly closed and focusing internally. So we're developing this awareness of this sitting, breathing body, this heavy, dense body that's breathing. Now the breath is light, the body's heavy. And just take a moment, maybe check that your chin is tucked, that you're not leaning forward, that there's this vertical, that central channel, this vertical axis is here. It's keeping the body upright. Okay, next one, with the next in-breath, we're going into the begging dog, and then coming up, and we're making this window to the moon. So it's kind of a triangular window, and it's up at the forehead level. The eyes are looking through it with a soft gaze that is not looking at objects, just looking through. This is window to the moon, so now we're enlivening this dense body with the light of the moon, or the light of the universe, which enters in through the third eye, through the forehead, with the breath. And so now we're enlivening the body not just with the earth chi, but with also the cosmic chi. So this is with our intention, with our attention. So we're filling the body with the light of the stars. Now, the training is to hold this posture as long as you can. And it is extremely beneficial, and I do recommend that. But for this class tonight, we're only going to hold it for a minute or so. And we know that your shoulders are going to get achy and stiff, and as long as it's not painful, that is, you don't have shoulder issues or something, you just sit through it. This is the practice. It's a very, very powerful practice. Why don't we just take 3 more breaths. Okay, and then when we're ready, then we'll circle the arms around and come back to the Lan Fa. And we'll sit in Lan Fa for 5 breaths. Okay, very good. The next one, in breath and the begging dog, and just leave the palms facing down. And we're going to circle the hands like this together. So we're going to take an in breath and then an out breath. That's one circle. Okay, so in breath, you go halfway, out breath, you go the other half. Okay, we're going to do this 5 times in each direction. Okay, so ready? So in breath, out breath. And repeat. Okay, and then when you come to 5, then rest a moment. Now we're going to repeat the same thing, the other direction. So, and then when you're done, circle the hands and come back to Lan Fa. Now that's dragon emerges from the sea. So the combination of the chi of the earth, the heaviness of the body, and then the boundless energy of light consciousness, the merging of those two was just sort of mixed around in the body. And that alchemy causes the emergence of the dragon from the sea. So the dragon is the mythical beast. It symbolizes a lot of different things, but it's a very spiritual, very powerful, and very spiritual being. Okay, and then next one, so this is balancing yin and yang. We're going to take our hands and place them on the insides of our knees, just palms on the insides of the knees. And the movement is we're going to move the hand around to the front of the knee and around to the outside, across the top, and back to the inside. We're just circling the knees with the hand. Okay, so it goes around the front, around the outside, top, and then back to the inside. Okay, so we're going to do this again, same way, 5 times in each direction. So as we move the hands, we move halfway, that's an in-breath, and then the other halfway as an out-breath, so that's 1. Okay, so we're going to do it 5 times each direction. Ready? So start with the in-breath. You can bend at the waist. Sort of rock forward, that's fine. And when you've done 5, then just rest a moment. And then we're going to go the other way 5 times. Very good. And then when you're done, go to the Lan Fa for 5 breaths. And then the last one in this set, this is called turning the wind wheel. So we're going to place one hand on the front of the body and about the solar plexus, and the other hand behind it. And again, we're going to go 5 times in each direction, and each one has an in-breath and an out-breath. So we're going to just rub the belly. So we'll start by, we're making a circle with both hands, and that's an in and an out breath. Okay, so it doesn't matter which way you start. So we're moving the hands together in a circle. We're rubbing the belly, and we're rubbing the spine, rubbing the back. Okay, so start with an in breath, and go halfway, and then an out breath. So ready? And when you've done 5, then rest a moment and then do the other direction. And then when you're finished, then I'm going to the Lan Fa for 5 breaths again. And just take a moment and just feel the belly, feel the knees, and feel the shoulders, the chest, the forehead, sort of bringing the whole sequence back into this moment. Okay, now we're going to take a deep in breath, and we're going to fill the abdomen with luminous white fog. Okay, so we're just going to take a deep breath, fill it up, and then breathe normally. Shallow, maybe. Okay, and then let it out. Okay, we're going to do this again. We're going to take a deep in breath. We're going to fill the belly with luminous white fog. We're going to hold that for a few seconds. Then we're going to do a big out breath, and we're going to shoot that luminous fog up the spine or up the central channel and up into the brain. Okay? So this is an interruption in normal Qigong breathing. So we're ready. We'll take a deep in breath, fill the belly. So ready? Okay, deep in breath. Hold. Strong out breath, shoot it up the spine. The brain is now surrounded and filled with luminous white fog. And then with the breaths, we're massaging, we're washing, scrubbing out the brain. We're circulating this luminosity through the brain with the breath. And it's picking up any obscurations or problems or worries or fears. It's just picking up anything that's unneeded and cleansing the brain. Okay, and then so the luminous white fog it gets more dull in this process. And then we'll take an in breath, and then with the next out breath, we'll do a strong out breath, and we'll shoot it out the third eye. It goes out and it drops down into the earth as compost. Okay, so that's the process. We'll do this 3 times. So at your own pace, and don't be afraid to take a deep breath, in breath, and then shoot the out breath out strong. Okay, so when you're ready. And when you're finished, now we're going to bring the attention up inside the body and up to the crown of the head, the skull, and we're going to open it up so that it's open to the luminous blue sky. And there's this incredible luminous blue light. And with the next in-breath, we're going to breathe that light slowly down into the head, and slowly with the breath, it moves down and fills the entire body little by little with this luminous blue light. Now, this is pure consciousness. You might smile a little bit. And this is reuniting the body with the light of the stars. Okay, when the body is entirely filled with this luminous blue light, then it suffuses the body and then it radiates out. And just radiates out and into white light around the body. And then the blue light becomes the water in the body. Okay. And then as you become ready, you go ahead and move a little bit, fingers, toes, maybe. And just notice sensations in the body, and notice the mood. Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and clap our hands together one time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Make heat. And we'll start by massaging the eye sockets. And again, do this in any order you want. Comb back the hair, massage the scalp a little. And massage the temples. And the ears. And then making small fists and tap the kidneys. And then massage the kidneys. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your practice, for your presence. And if you would like to slip away, please do so. If you'd like to remain for conversation, then you can do that.